What's up guys, it's me Raza, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to create a professional and minimalistic logo like the one you see on screen now, using Adobe Illustrator Shape Builder tool, as well as how to present your logos when showcasing them to clients. As always, be sure to let me know on Twitter if you found this tutorial useful whatsoever, and if you go on to enjoy the video, please consider subscribing and liking. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so the first step to creating our logo will be to sketch it. Usually I'd sketch using pen and paper, however for the purpose of today's video, I'll be doing it directly in Photoshop. As you can see, my mood board on the left consists of real-world examples of the icon I'm attempting to draw, which will really help us instate a sense of realism in the logo. In saying that, I recommend you don't use pre-existing logos in your mood board, as you may end up drawing too much inspiration from it. Now that our sketch is done, we're going to go ahead and move it into Illustrator. Alright, so now that we've moved our sketch into Illustrator, we can start creating the logo. So the first thing I'm going to do is outline this right side here using the circle. Now I'm just going to do that by making a circle by holding shift and dragging, and then just doing something like this. Alright, that looks good. So just as you can see, it covers the bounds of this right side here. Alright, that's good. Now next thing I'm going to do is create a new circle. I like to change the colors as I go just to make it easier while we're using the Shape Builder tool, but feel free to do anything you guys like. So I'm going to do this. Alright. And then we're just going to go all the way up our, I guess the main, I'm not sure, I think it's the main of our little horse thing. And then do one of these. Now this bit here is really important. What you want to make sure you do is before doing this, go to view and make sure it's set to snap to point. If it's on snap to pixel, make sure you turn that off. And then what we're going to do is press Control and Y, and we're going to bring up this sort of like outline menu here. Now what we have to make sure is that our lines are completely overlapping. And we're going to do the same thing here, because if we don't, then the Shape Builder tool will literally just not work. So what we have to do is zoom in, and you see here, although it looks like it's overlapping, it's actually not. So what we're going to do is just increase the size of a tad. And I guess it wants to be a pain. That's the best I'm going to get it for now, because I don't want this video to be too long. And as you can see, it's moved again up here. So now we have to move this down. And then move this across a little bit. Alright, so what we're going to do now is zoom out and drag over all the shapes we currently have and just remove sort of the outline bits of it. And quickly before I do that, I'm just going to move this so that it's more in line with that actual sketch. Alright, and I think I'm happy with that now. So what I'm going to do is press Control Y again, highlight over everything. Click Shift M on your keyboard, or just click the Shape Builder tool here on the left side, and remove all the parts that aren't sort of part of the sketch. So as you can see here, we've removed all the bits around, and it just keeps all the bits that we do want. Next thing we're going to do is create this left side, I guess you could call it. So what I'm going to do is get a circle. You can see here, the reason I like to alternate colors is just so I can see sort of the highlighted area in the middle. And it just makes it easier when you have a lot of shapes like we're about to have. So now, I'm going to speed this bit up just because it gets quite repetitive. But if there's anything important, I'll be sure to stop and let you guys know what's happening. Now, this is important here. Make sure when you're doing the rectangles that they completely overlap. If it's anything even like this, or it doesn't completely go over it, it's not going to work when you use the shape builder tool. So be careful to do that. I mean, in this situation, it might be okay just because of the layout of the sketch, but just for future reference, if you do end up using shape builder tool in the future, make sure that the lines completely overlap. Now that we're nearly done, we're just going to quickly line this bit up here, create a circle, and I think that's good. So what we're going to do now is just go over and delete everything that isn't a part of our logo. Now, if you're struggling to figure out which parts to delete and not delete, I recommend having a second sketch here on the side. That way you can just see what your sketch looked like without any of the shapes, and that way you'll know sort of where to delete and where not to delete. And make sure when you're doing all this that you're holding Alt with your shape builder tool. If you're not, you'll see what happens, it won't work. So you really want to make sure that you're holding Alt. Now, I believe I'm done here. This looks okay, but what I'm going to do is highlight over everything, turn it black, and increase the opacity, and then just move this sketch over to the side so we can see what it looks like. I'm quite happy with this personally. I might actually just delete this little extra thing at the top. How does that look? No, I think I'll keep it. Yeah, I think this is done. I did rush it a little bit just for you guys. I didn't want to, you know, spend too much time on it. But I think this is good. So the next thing we need to do is the eye. Now the way I'm going to do this is, instead of sort of like tracing around it, we're still going to trace around it, but instead this time we're going to be using the add tool instead of the subtract tool, like inside of the shape builder. So what we're going to do is just outline this eye. Alright, now that we've outlined the eye, what we're going to do is highlight over everything and just click once in the middle to create a new shape. And if you see, it'll cut out everything that we didn't select, and now we can just make this white. Place it sort of where you think it fits, and I think it looks alright there. And then we have our finished logo. Now in just a second, I'm going to show you guys how I present my logos when setting them to clients. So stick around and I'll show you how to do that. First things first, we want to start with the front cover. This will set the mood for the rest of the presentation to make sure it really represents the brand you have created. Just to preface, I'm using the original logo in this presentation, as I do believe it is more refined than the one I created in the video. Next, we want to reinstate the client's brief, as well as show them the original sketch you have created. This will really prove to the client that you have followed their instructions clearly, and have created a logo that will represent their brand in the fullest. Then, we move on to possible brand guidelines for the organization. Font suggestions, color palettes, and even structural examples can really benefit your presentation, as it allows the client to envision a future with their logo. To complete our presentation, I like to include various mock-ups showcasing the logo. This will undermine the versatility of the design. It's always a good idea to include both visually appealing and accurate mock-ups, such as Twitter headers and icons, business cards, and apparel. Finally, a thanks for viewing page can really round off your presentation and serve as a good way to showcase information such as contact details. Thanks for watching the video, and if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one.